welcome to all the attendees for today's session. Today's topic is about a question like, is it worth embracing? And specifically, you're talking about Oracle Analytics Cloud, also been termed with acronym OAC, which is the Oracle's product offering. I hope at the end of the presentation, you'll be able to find the answer to this question. So today, we're going to try to help you understand how analytics actually is, if it is well thought through, it's going to be of real help in the making an outcome-based business benefit. And specifically, the good analytics can actually help you to manage your business functions much better and provide a holistic view. So in order to become more future-oriented ready with regard to your anticipated trends and challenges, I think the Analytics Cloud is something which is going to be a kind of a helpful thing for many of the organizations. So with that, let me move to the agenda for today's topic. So what we are going to cover is a brief introduction about NexInfo and the presenters, followed by what is the need of analytics in today's world, talking more about the good analytics and how it's different from your traditional reporting tracking. We're going to cover a few of the use cases from the different business industry segments. And then we're going to talk about analytics platforms and specifically on Oracle Analytics Cloud offering. What are the different kind of offerings which Oracle provides in the analytics space? And towards the end, we're going to have a demonstration of OAC product, and we're going to address Q&A. So with that, moving to the next slide about NexInfo. NexInfo is a provider of business process consulting and software consulting services since 20 plus years. We are headquartered in Orange County, Southern California. We've got presence across America, Europe, and Asia. From the domain expertise standpoint, we cater to ERP, customer relationship management, EPM, supply chain management, HCM, and multiple other product clients. From partnership standpoint, we have a partnership with Oracle, as well as SAP, Microsoft, Vanguard, and Arabgen. We have been awarded by many of the leading organizations like Gartner. Also, we have been recognized as a CIO review for the 10 most promising ERP organizations, smartest 50 incorporations, etc. So with that, would like to quickly give an introduction about the presenter. I am Hemal Parekh. I'm Senior Solution Architect from NexInfo, providing financial solutions for my customers, along with I'm an implementation specialist for Oracle Cloud. I have, as from a delivery standpoint, have led many of the customers for the business transformation and optimization engagements, both in on-prem and cloud space. I've been cloud evangelist and presenting multiple topics at different OATG forums. With that, I would like to hand it over for Prakash to provide a brief introduction about him, who is a co-panelist.
Thanks, Hemal. This is Prakash Malmarakan. I have close to 8+ years of experience in the space of EPM and analytics. I was a speaker at Analytics and Data Summit event happened at Oracle Conference Center, California. I'm also a certified EPM planning consultant, and I'm a certified blockchain expert by the Blockchain Council. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we would like to take this opportunity one more time to welcome you all to this wonderful session. Hemal, over to you.
Thank you. So now let's get to the topic like Analytics Cloud, and specifically when organizations are thinking about the analytics, I think one of the key initiatives which many of the organizations are taking as a part of Industry 4.0 are digital transformation. And when you talk about the digital transformation, what comes into mind is what is analytics and how does it play a role? So to define analytics in more of a simplistic way, it's actually about taking your data from multiple sources, which what we can term it as raw data, and make a conclusions out of it in a systematic way. Now, the data that you collate from multiple sources, how can we get first is interface to your analytics platform? It can be a real time, or it can be kind of a scheduled process. But what is key is how soon you can collate and analyze the data and able to make a real time insights, or how soon you can make a decision which can be changed in your strategy or planning and focus in a specific area. That's what is key. Now, with that being said, we'll talk about also like the overall analytics platform per se and the initiative which organizations take. A couple of questions that typically come in an organization. One, who should be leading the analytics initiative for an organization? Is it the IT or the IT department, or is it a business? As you can see in the survey, 50% plus outcomes or the feedback that's been received from the customers who have been part of the survey informed that it's more of a business decision. And not only that, I mean, IT does play, or the technology does play a role with regard to providing a platform and aligning it with what you are looking out for. But I think what's critical is the outcome or the decision making that happens from your analytics platform. Which part of business initiative does it impact? And that's where the business steps in identifying which is the prominent area to focus on. And the second aspect, which typically needs to be thought through, is do we need to have your analytics as more of a decentralized analytics to be performed for your organization, or you would like to have a centralized? And experience says that it's better to have centralized analytics as far as possible so that you can get a comprehensive view of the initiatives that needs to be taken. You can have a decentralized analytics to perform your decentralized functioning, but I think for organization, what strategy the organization needs to take for the next 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years roadmap, it's very important that you get a centralized analytics. So moving to the next slide, which is, I think the slide itself talks about with a pictorial representation. What is key to remember is in today's world, in the marketplace, if you go to, you'll find umpteen number of analytics products and tools available. And all of them may be having really good features and functionalities, may be pretty much attractive. But I think one of the key things to remember is from the business initiative standpoint and the criticality standpoint, does the product address that business need, what has been looked out for? And you should not get derailed or distracted by the passing by squirrel. That is what is important. So let's now talk about what the life cycle of analytics ought to be talking about the digital transformation look like. So when we are trying to, when organization is able to embark on the digital transformation, what's important is what is the roadmap or what are the structured steps that organizations should be thinking through. And that's what this picture represents into 3 broad categories, starting from the right top, which is definition phase. As a part of the definition phase for your digital transformation, important thing is you first need to define what area or what part of your organization initiative that you would like to focus on, which you would like to get embarked. Once you define that initiative, what we call it is or the business problem, that's where you get into your second step, which is identifying your key processes, identifying your key business areas, key part of your organization, which needs to be considered for this initiative. And that's where you start with your modeling of your key business process areas. Once that's been done, which is overall a part of your definition phase, then you move to your implementation phase. Now, for you to starting your implementation for your digital transformation, what's important is you need to identify what data set I'm going to consume. What are the different sources of the data that I need to integrate with? What are the different processes that I need to consider, which needs to go in hand with the data that's been made available? What are the key objectives that I need to focus on for that? So once you have that being laid down and you start on your implementation, what happens is once you get into the subsequent phases, it's important that you at each stage you start evaluating. That's where more you have your structure been in place, where you have your data been sourced, you are now started to perform some analysis on that data. You perform your learning out of it. You try to improvise something further. And that is actually more like a continuous improvement cycle. The reason being, what the outcome you get, you analyze it or evaluate it based on what you're trying to looking out for. And then there are a few feedbacks, which you again improvise. It's more like a cyclic approach. And that's where if you see here, it's called a life cycle, which actually completes and again you go back. So you need to do a continuous improvement, and hence it's more like a cyclic approach. So with that, I would like to hand it over to Prakash to talk about also the analytics platform. But before that, wanted to cover briefly about what are the different use cases where analytics can be utilized for. So talking about the retail industry specifically, If you can think of an organization which has got stores across multiple locations and geographies, what is more important for them from the business standpoint is how are my stores performing? Now, let's try to understand or take a quick use case. If I need to understand how my stores are performing across multiple geographies and locations, what are different aspects that I need to consider? First, would like to know is what is my customer turnaround? And for that to happen, I would like to know what's the visits and what are the customers. And second aspect is what has been the feedback or the sentimental analysis from the customers? What is the review and feedback my customers are providing? That's how I can identify how well my store is performing. Similarly, I should be able to get from my analytics platform and integrated forecasting. I should be able to perform my forecasting for the next quarter, year, and I should be able to direct based on my forecasting, able to channelize my marketing and promotion activity. My analytics platform should also provide me the visibility with regard to what are the segments of customers or the product lines also which I need to focus on. And not only that, that focus should also lead to me a profitability. So am I getting an intelligence into the profitability which I'm able to tailor it back to whatever my promotions and marketing initiatives that I'm taking. So now let's move to a quick example. As you can see here on a presentation slide, where you have got a dashboard which gives you a real-time visibility of your conversion rate. Now, what the conversion rate is essentially, you have your customers for a particular store that are as a part of your ERP system or your invoicing system, you get to know what are the customers that are being part of your store revenue. Whereas there is also maybe a mechanism through the sensors, you can capture the data set of what are the number of visits that I'm making. And you can get, once that data has been fed into systematically into analytics system or the tool, you'll be able to provide a visibility of what is the conversion rate of customers versus your number of visits. Now that information for a store is helpful, but for making a key decisions, how about if I can get this perspective with the comparison across multiple stores? And that's what you see on your right side with a quadrant analysis, where you can see across multiple stores, what is the performance of your conversion. So what you see on your right quadrant, right top quadrant, is what is your sweet spot, where most of our stores ideally should be, but may not be because of the different reasons. So two aspects which typically from the decision that needs to be made. One, the stores which are not really performing good, that means they are having a low visits or they are having the low customer turnaround. Now, those are the stores once identified are the one which qualify for a more focus area. There can be the stores which are having a high visits but low customers, or maybe having the high customers but low visits. So those are the stores also which can be considered for a comparison purpose and what changes in strategy that need to be performed. Now that is more from the conversion rate, but to get a comprehensive view, it's always better to also get what is my employee utilization happening for those stores. And that's what you see on your left down side, which a graph which shows you what is my employee per square feet by store. And with this visibility, you'll be able to know from the utilization standpoint and my customer conversion standpoint, is my store performing really good and where is it placed? That is the kind of reading which my analytics should be able to provide. Moving to the next slide, thinking about the other side, which is today my stores are performing good, but what about if from recently I'm getting a negative feedback or reviews for those stores? That means I'm heading towards a trouble in the future. How I can get a proactive visibility into that? And that's where your sentimental analysis can help you. In today's world of multiple social platforms, how about getting a social platform feedback like Twitter or maybe Google reviews, or even if it's your portal which has got a feedback left by the customer? How about collating those feedback systematically into your data analytics platform and able to perform your reviews and ratings by each of the store? And that's what this provides, kind of from the scale of 1 to 5 for your rating, what is the count of the reviews and how they fare with regard to the percentages of that. and mapping it with by each store. So this gives a visibility of what is a review or sentimental analysis or the pulse of my customer for each of the store. And that way I can improvise my strategy much more proactively. So with that, moving to another use case of manufacturing, where a manufacturing company which has multiple factories or plants at multiple different locations, they would like to perform their analysis on what is my supplier risk, what are my top 10 suppliers, or what is the performance with regard to my different aspects of planning, my process benchmarking, and from the planning and scheduling, am I having all the resources aligned right in place or not? And can I get a visibility ahead of time on my preventive maintenance and how each of my plants are performing with regard to any foreseeable bottlenecks? So that is something which you can get as a part of for a manufacturing company by utilizing your data analytics. Similarly, if you talk about the financials, what you can get is the different ratios. Now you have the multiple financial data that's been captured from your ERP system. Now how I can utilize that, collate it along with my HCM application, human resource, and can perform my revenue and headcount analysis. Which department has got a high revenue per employee, or which department has got a high cost? How is my organization performing with regard to my expense or the cost management? It is operating expense or is it a capital expense? Able to get a visibility with regard to my margins, my gross margin, my EBITDA margin percentage, etc. And getting this visibility for monthly, quarterly, and yearly basis, and should be able to compare with my prior year performance. And that's where your data analytics can actually be a single place where you're able to integrate from your multiple different sources of its HR, your sales, your CRM, or is it your financials, and able to get that visibility. So with that, I would like to hand it over to Prakash to talk about the analytics, what data analytics can actually help you more from the technical aspect and the platform aspect, and how it should be looked out for.
Thanks, Hemal. That's so interesting to see where exactly analytics is going to fill in the gap which is not available today. In the next few minutes, we're going to discuss what are the capabilities of analytics and where exactly Oracle Analytics products are actually going to fit in with respect to the different capabilities that we see there and while building any analytics platform. So analytics is all about asking questions. It's a combination of skills, techniques, technologies, and practices to examine the organization data and performance as a way to gain better insights and make data-driven decisions. Also, the goal of the business analytics is to narrow down which data set will be useful that can actually give me an increased revenue or the productivity or efficiency, or sometimes all these three. Any organizations will always be having a need to extract meaningful insights from their business system. Here we have a bunch of data, but this is not meaningful. To make it a little more meaningful through the analytics, we'll first have to sort this data to see how many variety of data sets do we have and how we can actually group them in a logical space or segments. Once we do that, we'll have to arrange the data to see the quality and quantity, or do I need to do some cleansing work or transform something? Ultimately, we'll have to present it in a visually appealing way so that business can make better decisions. So how about this? What do we infer from this chart? So this chart tells us by individual location, what is the total visits versus the total customers. So you can see it, and a particular location may have one store or multiple stores. So this exactly tells me, but by individual location, what those numbers are. I can actually do this even by applying a filter on the top, looking only for one particular location, or I can actually do a comparison between multiple locations. But how about this chart? So this chart tells us across all the locations, which are those locations which are performing better compared to any other location. The top performing versus the not top performing locations. But this is still not telling by individual stores. Let's also add the stores detail into this location chart. So now it becomes like Each location, it tells us something. But with this chart, I'm not able to take a decision which are those stores, particular stores that requires my attention, or do I need to focus on this particular store, or should I have to consider moving the store from this location to a different location, right? That's where the power of analytics comes in, and then the practice of analytics comes in. So we have used the k-means clustering, where we have deployed each of those stores on a scattered plot chart, where we have created a quadrant that says for quadrant, the top performing, all the top performing or the high performing stores, you can see there in the top right quadrant. How about this quadrant? This quadrant is also equally important for us because you have less visits, but comparatively you have a higher conversion rate. To increase the number of visits, what should I have to take? What decision should I have to take? Should I have to consider marketing the store or advertising about the store? Should I promote some offerings? That's a level of inference that you can actually get when you build or deploy those data on a beautiful visualization that adds up a meaningful insight while you are making better decision. How about this space? Any store that falls into this space tells us higher number of visits but lesser number of customer conversion ratio. What is missing in these stores? Right, there are a lot of questions that you can actually ask while looking at this chart. So what is the current model that you can see in any business? Any business you take, they will have more than one source system. If you take the retail analytics, you have plenty of source system, POS systems. You have the people counting sensors. You will also have the e-commerce site. You might be having your in-stores as well as you will be doing your business on an e-commerce platform, maybe your own e-commerce, or you might be doing business on a different e-commerce platforms. And again, these systems are also sending us data. You'll also look at the weather reports. So based on the weather, should I have to stock more product in my store? Or should I have to consider not to supply more supplies, or should I have to consider reducing my inventory in these stores? Right, there are a lot of things that you can actually consider when you are actually trying to mash up data between all the different source systems. That's where you will have your reporting team. Again, there is a siloed, because of the siloed business system. One team might be waiting for the other team to get the result out from their system, where the other team will be working on mashing up the data and producing a better insight. In the whole course of journey, there may be some of the data will be underutilized. That leads us to a reactive kind of action rather than a kind of a proactive action. So what is the opportunity that you see there in this analytics space, right? Bridging this data silos. You have a variety of data sets, volume, speed, and different types of data, which is giving us an opportunity to bridge these different data sources into a single unified platform, which people can consider that as a single source of truth while they are actually generating reports. Another interesting thing while you build this ecosystem is it gives you a place where you can actually templatize everything, even the data model, the relationship between all the source system. You don't have to work on rebuilding using macros or some VLOOKUPs using your Excels. Instead of doing all those things on a manual or on a periodic basis, this platform will offer you a one-time implementation of how exactly all these data are actually referenced behind the screen. Should I have to consider adding a little more attributes or measures so that I can get better insights, right? So those are the key things that you can actually make when you build an analytics platform. So in our experience, we have seen people struggling making this data warehouse and applying an analytics layer on top of it, which gives them better dashboard and then better meaning to the data. While we are actually doing the whole analytics implementation, we have seen this analytics transformation always starts at the leadership level. As Himal was highlighting when we started this discussion, where he was referring to a chart that says, the survey says, it's all about the C-segment leaders who were predominantly using the data for their decision-making process. So which also tells us For the whole journey to happen, the digital transformation on the analytics space to happen, it always starts with the leadership level. Who knows what are the pain points that the system or the current business is actually facing today? From all of those pain points, we will have to focus on one particular thing or few of those pain points, try to address those, which is why we have to consider which exact problem are we trying to solve today with this analytics platform. Once we solve this, we have to identify, is that really adding any value to the business? Right, we'll have to identify and then score the measures. With that, we'll have to create a workplace culture which all the other employees of the business will be able to adapt to this culture and then start looking at the data in different perspectives. That's where we have a variety of audience, daily users or a periodic users, or even the skilled data scientist who will always look at your data and then decipher better insights, unlock the hidden patterns between the data. This also leads us to a space where you can actually use this platform for your reporting as well as for your analytics purpose. Reporting is generally for the reporting what happened yesterday, and the analytics is going to give us or tell us what is going to happen or what is happening currently real time. This also enables us an opportunity to use the algorithms to play with the data set that the transaction systems are creating today. In the same context, so since we are talking about the data, what are the different capabilities that analytics will be able or capable of today? The key thing is the descriptive analytics, which most of the businesses will be using it today, which always works on the historical data. It's going to tell you what exactly happened in the past. It is also going to tell you how your customer patterns were, how was your customer trends, which product they were actually looking for in the past. So this also leads an opportunity for the sales and the marketing team to set the forecast for the next thing. So based on the customer pattern, the other team can actually look at what are the other steps they can actually take, whether to improvise it or to stay on the same level without losing that space. The next level of thing that analytics will be capable of is the predictive nature. Since we already know what is happening or what is happening today or what happened yesterday, the business will be more interested in looking at what is going to happen tomorrow. So this is the place where people will look at the feedbacks or the comments from the social media feeds, analyze those, and then set a footprint or set a roadmap. What exactly has to happen tomorrow? Should I have to launch a new product line because this is a demand that I can see there in the market? So this also leads us to another space to compare the yesterday data and tomorrow data, which you are going to predict. So that tells us what is the hidden pattern between these two data sets, what is the nature, where exactly we are actually heading towards. There is a new compliance that is coming in place, which is why the current product line is not performing better. So what should the business should do now? Should we have to align our product with reference to the new amendments and the regulations that the government is releasing on that particular geography? So this is going to unblock the pattern between all these data sets. In addition to all of these things, this is going to lead us to a what if kind of scenario.
Right. And I think the way Prakash you mentioned, like providing an insight from a descriptive to discovery, and similarly, you're getting into the more of a predictive, which is more for the future. I think one of the key aspects to remember also is if for me to have a better prediction and maybe better discovery to be performed, also it's critical if I can get the platform can provide me a flexibility where I can perform effective what if analysis. Now, if I take an example for an automotive industry, a organization or the company which is catering to the sedan kind of cars, and they want to make a decision, should they be embarking from the strategy standpoint into hatchback kind of models or into SUV kind of models. Now, this what if analysis can actually provide them visibility, considering creating a model where if they start the design development, by what date they can actually launch the product, and by what date or year they will be able to get to the outcome where they are able to make a break even with their costs. Now, with that kind of modeling or that what if analysis, if they can get a visibility that if I get into the hatchback segment versus my SUV segment, this is the cost and benefit analysis that I can perform. And that's where it actually moves to your prescriptive, which is your next capability. Based on that what if analysis, I can actually try to also make some prescriptive suggestions, which is more for the future, which talks about with my cost benefit analysis and considering various industry and market factors, that which route or which way to go ahead, which is more profitable for the company. So as you can see here, all these capabilities which an analytics platform should have, I think, but the question is, if I have got, say, 10 different products and tools for analytics, which one is more effective? So I think one of the critical aspects to remember for an organization is, which is embarking on the analytics, that what is the quality or effectiveness of the tool for my organization? The product may have the capabilities across all the 5 capabilities or maybe 3 of the capabilities, but which of the tool is able to provide me the best advantage for the segment and the business benefit what I'm looking out for. With that being said, I would like to actually ask Prakash to step in and give some overview on what the Oracle's offering in the analytics platform spaces.
Sure. When we talk about the analytics that Oracle is offering today, so far we have discussed about the generic capabilities of all the analytics platform can actually offer on the ground. So Oracle also decided to come into this place, and then they are offering all these capabilities in a single pack, which offers you the descriptive kind of model. They also offer you a predefined set of dashboards or the predefined or pre-configured set of data models that talks to the SaaS applications, so that you feel the benefits from day one or within few days. In the same package, Oracle also added the data science components, which includes the machine learning and then the data science other algorithms or the predefined out-of-the-box algorithms. The whole application that Oracle is offering in this space is also pre-built or has got the built-in machine learning capabilities, which will tell us when you're uploading a data, this is going to recommend what level of enrichment that you can actually add on top of whatever the data you have already pushing into the system. In the same space, Oracle is offering this product in multiple models. One, where this model will be deployed on the Oracle Cloud infrastructure, which they call it as Oracle Analytics Cloud, which is completely managed by the Oracle. Similarly, you can actually deploy this model in your own infrastructure, maybe your on-premises, or you can actually deploy it in a different cloud infrastructure, which is the Oracle Analytics Server. Again, these two models are actually a completely empty box where you can actually build anything from scratch. You can pick any of your use cases which you may try to solve with this analytics platform. You can go with one of these models to build your use case. And then another model Oracle is offering today is the OAX, or the Fusion Analytics Warehouse, FAW. This offers a predefined or a pre-configured set of data models and KPIs and dashboards analysis. You just supply the connection details to the SaaS application where the OAX can actually talk to, and it's going to pull the data directly from that and into the autonomous data warehouse, and it processes the data and shows better meaningful insights in the dashboard that is already comes out of the box when this model. In the same model, you can also mash up different source systems. If you are interested in building a different use case, once you go live with this OAX, you can actually do it. So across these product models, Oracle has added all these features, the governed analytics that includes the thing that you'll be looking for in any analytics platform is the better visualization, dashboards, analysis, reports, right? The pixel perfect report, which you can actually build and present it to the management, semantic modeling space, where you can establish the relationship between all your data sources in a way it is going to allow you to mash up and create a kind of a template. On top of all these layers, Oracle also added a self-service analytics layer where it allows you to curate, ingest the data and play with your data. In case you wanted to add a new measure column, or you wanted to add an attribute that you think that is going to make the data a little more meaningful, you can do it within the same platform. Better visualization. And if you are interested in presenting your data to your management in a kind of a storytelling mode, here is a storytelling option. On top of all of these things, it also offers you the what if kind of modeling where you can actually play with your data with different scenarios. Talking about the automobile industry, maybe considering the EV segment that is getting more popularized in these days. Should I have to go for this model? So far I'm using the gasoline and the diesel models. Maybe should I have to consider launching a new product? What will happen if I launch a electric vehicle, or what will happen if people prefer to buy EVs, not the gasoline vehicles? So what will happen to my business, right? You can do all kind of those what if kind of scenarios within the same platform. In the same space, Oracle is also offering a mobile based application which also enables you a kind of augmented analytics wherein you can actually ask the application, bring me the total top performing customers last year. The voice will be converted into text and then it will send back to the database through the data model, and it's going to send up on the fly visualization quickly. And on top of all of these things, you can also do some enrichment to your data. Maybe when you're importing some data, this has the capability to tell you, in addition to if you're importing a country data, do you also want to add the capitals, or do you want to also add the population details of those country? It also includes the natural language processing and generation, where you will be looking at a bar chart and you'll be spending time to convert the chart into a textual form. Maybe you'll have to use your knowledge transforming that chart into text. But Oracle offers you a one-click explanation. You see any chart, change the visualization to textual format, that is going to convert that into a text quickly. You can simply copy paste that into your report, or you can actually use the same dashboard as a reporting mechanism.
So,
Would like to ask.
Yeah, so maybe I think let me just talk about quickly the architecture diagram, and I see one of the questions with regard to that. What are different sources which Oracle and its cloud platform support? So as you can see here on the first column or the tabular way, which shows the different sources. So essentially, an analytics platform should be able to cater to imbibing both your structured as well as non-structured data. Now, structured data can be coming up from your HCM application, which is like Oracle Talent Acquisition or Oracle HCM Cloud or any of your HR applications. Or it may be any of your sales or CRM applications, which has been integrated. Like, as you can see here, the Oracle Service Cloud here. You can also have an unstructured data, which has been sitting in kind of some emails, some discussions, or some questionnaires, and all those things which you would also have some meaningful inputs or feedback which you would like to channelize it, right? If you remember, we talked about also like few of the reviews that we have captured from unstructured data, which you can try to push it. So all such kind of data, the platform should be capable of getting it sourced and interfaced. Now, that data, it can be integrated as real time, or it can be as a scheduled process or the file-based process. But it should be flexible enough to cater to all your standard and non-standard data. Now, once you have that integrated, what it goes is, as Prakash mentioned, with regard to your autonomous data warehouse, OSC has the flexibility to actually churn the data, measure the data, and generate your analysis. And the analysis should be viewable into your laptop or desktop systems, or it can be into your mobile analytics. So that's where OSC provides your mobile analytics capability also, which reaches a far-reaching for the consumers. Now, the consumers can be your line of business heads, can be the data scientists who are actually performing further next level of analytics, or maybe by analysts, or maybe it's been again taken forward for few further improvisation. So this architecture of analytics platform, I think one of the key aspects is the flexibility or the quality. When you talk about how effective a particular platform is, it should be able to be flexible enough, and it should be able to provide you with a quick speed of integrating, kind of giving you a real-time visibility of that. So with that, would hand it over to Prakash to talk about how the data flow happens for analytics platform.
Yes, while these two layers, integration, the structure layers, offers you what you don't know about your data, but the analysis is a space which will let you to take an operationalized decision, and which gives you better ROI. You have plenty of data sources. You have flat files. How can actually upload those files into the application? You have the direct upload mechanism. You can upload the data directly to OAC or send it to object storage space and then import it into autonomous data warehouse through some programs. or you can actually use an advanced ETL tool or the lightweight ETL tool like Data Sync that Oracle is offering along with the OAC package, which has the ability to talk to your flat files or file dumps, or it can actually establish a connectivity directly to your on-premises database, which takes the data, pulls the data from the DB, and then sends it to a interim data warehouse where every data will be logically grouped into different data mods, and those will be supplied through a data model to the analytics through subject areas. If you're someone who is not ready to take your data to be stored on a cloud infrastructure, here is another approach: the remote data gateway. Remote data gateway allows a direct query from your OAC to your on-premises application database. So your on-premises application database may be a transactional or an operational data that talks to the RDG. RDG will talk to OAC through the HTTPS, through the data models. When you open a dashboard, dashboard will send the query to data model, and data model to RDG, and RDG to your on-premises database, where it will be processed, and the result set will be sent back to RDG, and then it will be showcased here in the dashboard. The moment you close the dashboard, the data that is stored in the memory will also get swiped out. So which officially technically means that the data is not stored on a cloud infrastructure. So how can I actually make most out of the data when I'm building an analytics ecosystem? The first question that you may have is to identify the source system in your discovery space. What are my source system that I'm going to use for building this analytics platform? Again, looking at the analytics platform, whether that analytics application that I have chosen has the ability to talk to all of those data sources. Does it provide all the adapters, open connectivity? Should I have to buy something on top of it? Analytics, Oracle Analytics comes with a lot of adapters that talks to plenty of source system directly and indirectly without any additional money. And then the second question that you will be having is, how can I actually prepare my data sets? I know what data source systems are going to be, but when I wanted to play with this data before I send it to analysis, I wanted to play with it, curate it, transform it, add enrichment to it, right? Add some more measures, attributes, so that I can create a holistic view of my whole data, where it also becomes like a single source of truth for me, because I have mashed up all the source systems into a single place, right? That's where your preparation comes in. Again, Analytics Cloud that Oracle is offering has got the component to prepare or let you to prepare or play with your data in the single same platform. On top of all of these things, you will be looking at different visualization that you wanted to apply on with your data, so it makes more meaningful sense, right? So different visualization: bar chart, pie chart, stack chart, combo chart, line chart, or you have an area chart, or if I wanted to deploy the numbers on a map layer, should I be able to do that? Yes, Analytics Cloud has got 25 plus pre-built visualization that comes out of the box. You can use all of those without paying any additional money. And additionally, if you are interested in buying or building your own custom plugins, you can do it, or you can actually download some custom plugins or extensions that are available from the Oracle library. On top of all of these things, while you are actually looking at all these layers, right, most of your business use case might be solved. As a next step forward, what you will be looking for is a kind of a prediction. So should I have to buy or deploy a new application to do my prediction? The answer is no, because the Analytics Cloud that Oracle offers has got the prediction model or the capabilities as well within the same platform, which will let you to play with the numbers on the time series, multi-classifier or binary classifier, or you wanted to deploy a k-means theorem or a ARIMA model. You can do a lot of machine learning models within the same space, or if you're interested in building your custom scripts, you still can go ahead and do it in the same box. So let's take a few minutes to demonstrate what this has got on the ground. So here is a use case that we've been talking about, the retail analytics, where Hemal was talking about or talking through some of these analysis when we started this discussion. So here is the quadrant analysis. All these things are actually interactive. You can do a mouse over to each of those bar chart, which is going to tell us more meaningful information. Again, if you are interested in looking at in a bigger screen, you can actually expand it, and this quadrant analysis or any chart that you want to expand will give a better insight. And you can do a mouse over that is going to tell us where exactly the numbers are actually. Just a second. So here is the inventory analysis, which is going to tell us what's the opening stock and then the closing stock. And here is the byproduct, how each of these products are categorized based on the revenue. The darker the shades, it means the revenue is better here. And by gender, how many quantities were being sold, and by quarter. Right, you will also be looking at the financial numbers. Any business will have the financial numbers. So for the retail, let's look at the revenue, expense, the profit, and revenue by gender, by product, and by year over year comparison, or the profitability analysis by stores, again deployed on a scattered plot chart. Right, if I'm interested in deploying each of my stores on a map layer, I can still do it. So this tells me where should I have to conduct my next campaign. Maybe if I conduct a campaign somewhere in this space, that can cover actually 3 space or 3 stores, or maybe in Chicago, which can cover 3 stores. Right, if I conduct a campaign here, it's just going to cover only 1 store. Or you can also look at these stores, how many conversion ratios that you can see under each of those stores. The green, the better, the red is comparatively lesser. And then the demand analysis, which product that people are actually choosing from your stores. Maybe the formal shirts, you can actually do a brushing, you highlight one of the product, based on that the whole chart is going to change. By individual product categories, you can actually look at different location at individual store level, and buy different products that has been sold at individual stores. Or you can also look at how your brand has been engaged through these SEOs. What exact hashtag people were actually looking for when they search under my brand. Or you can actually look at the sentimental analysis, taking the feeds from the Twitter, right? Tells us, should I have to consider launching a new product line, or should I have to do some changes to the, maybe I have to look at the fashion that I'm using for one of the product, maybe not likable by all the age categories. Should I have to refocus aligning those products only to different age groups or categories, or based on the salaries, right? There are a lot of things that you can actually infer from sentiment analysis, which exactly tells you or connects you directly with your customer. Right, going back to this question that we started with, is it worth embracing? Yes, when you are actually building an analytics platform at high level, you will be looking out for whether the analytics application has the wide or open connectivity that can actually talk to plenty of data sources. And the second question that you will be having is, will I be able to prepare all my, or curate or cleanse my data or transfer my data in the same space without having to deploy a new or build a new system where I have to do curation work or transformation work and then send the data or the final result to analytics platform? That's the second question that you will be having, where the analytics cloud that Oracle is offering will be able to deliver that in the same unified platform. And then the next thing that predominantly we'll be looking for is the better visualization and then better rich looking dashboard, right? Again, Oracle Analytics plays a very good role or play in this space. And on top of all of these things, where exactly I'm heading towards when I'm setting this analytics platform, it's not just going to be a platform, because this is going to be an ecosystem. We all know this data is an asset, right? We are going to build an ecosystem. So the analytics platform that I'm going to choose for building this ecosystem, is it reliable? Can I work, or can I embark on it, embrace on it for a longer time? Yes, Oracle Analytics Cloud is something that you can actually trust, that gives you a better stability and reliability for a long run. So with that, let me hand it over to Hemal to quickly summarize what we have discussed so far and what would be the next steps forward.
Right. So I think to get towards the end of the session, I think two key questions which typically what I've seen with many of the customers they ask is where to start with the analytics transformation, and second is how to measure the success of such kind of analytics platform. So I think what we covered as a part of that is to embark on your assessment or for your analytics transformation, following your life cycle approach, where you first do your definition, followed by your implementation, and then a continuous evaluation, which is a 3-step cyclic process. If you follow that, you'll be able to perform your transformation more effectively. And we also talked about what are the different use cases, and we also talked about what are the different features and functions with regard to the flexibility of source of data being integrated. It can be your HCM, it can be your financial application, it can be your EPM application. We have seen for one of our customer where they would like to have their statistical data from EPM being integrated with your transactional data being integrated from your ERP application. So does my product or tool provide that flexibility? And I think that's what needs to be looked out for. And the third aspect, which typically needs to be looked out for, is what is the speed? How sooner I'm able to get that outcome? And that's what I think as a part of your success measure for analytics platform, which you are trying to evaluate, is it able to give you that speed also? And finally, but is the outcome aligning with your impacting your top line and bottom line for your financials? So if it is not creating any financial impact or the benefit for an organization, then probably the path on which you are embarking for with your analytics tool may not be correct, and you may have to re-improvise it. So with that, would like to close the presentation. If any questions for any of the demonstrations, you can always reach us out at letstalk@nexinfo.com, and you can pick up a phone and can call this number. So we'd like to open the forum for Q&A, and would like to thank all the attendees for the questions too.
Wonderful. Thank you both for that presentation. Just a reminder to everyone, if you do have questions, you can send those through that question box in your control panel. There was a question, and I know that you guys answered the first half, so I'm just going to send the follow-up, which was, can you also discuss which data sources can be used? And then specifically, the part that you didn't answer was, what about EPM as a source, as in direct integration?
Sure. I think we did touch upon it, but just to give an overview, that your analytics, like specifically on OAC standpoint, it does integrate with your Oracle products of EPM, HCM, financials, all those product lines, and also it provides a flexibility with your non-Oracle products also. Maybe Prakash, you want to talk about the structure and non-structure a little bit? That way it gives a bit holistic view on the sources.
Yes, especially in the CPM space, Oracle, this has the capability to talk to the planning and then SCCS data sources directly. So you don't have to build something once you pull the data directly, or once you connect this OAC to your EPM world. That will give us a lot of options to use those hierarchy that you have already built in place in the EPM space. Use those alternate hierarchies and then start building a lot of reports here in this. Whereas if you take the OTBI that is offered along with the Fusion, has got some limitations, because if you build any alternate hierarchies, you will not be able to use those effectively in your dashboard that comes out of the box within the Fusion world.
Great, thank you. The next question is, did I hear correctly that Oracle offers predefined data models? And then a similar question, are there pre-built connectors for SAP?
Yes, there are. It has the capability to talk to the SAP databases, even if in some cases you can actually do it through indirect approach. You can actually bring in a staging database and use a data sync kind of tool, which is a kind of a freeware. When you are subscribing to the OAC, you'll be entitled to use this data sync as well. So which will let you to talk to the SAP database and then transform the data directly to an interim database, or you can send the data directly to OAC as a file, again through an automated schedule on either on a near real time or real time.
Great. The next question is, does EPM EPBCS use OAC in the background?
Sorry, I was actually reading another question. Hannah, can you repeat that question?
Yes, sorry about that. Does EPM EPBCS use OAC in the background?
Yes, yes. Any EPM thing, you can actually use a PBCS box, or the model, or the enterprise PBCS still has the OAC has the capability to talk to any of this planning data source. We know PBCS and EPBCS are the old names, which are actually renamed as EPM planning. In general, OAC has the ability to talk to EPM planning data sources. I was just going through the other question. Yes, the other ask was predefined data models. Yes, the answer is yes. Not in all the models where you have the analytics cloud and analytics server. It is actually offered as part of the analytics for Fusion, which is called as Fusion Analytics Warehouse, FAW today. That has got the predefined data models, which talks to the Fusion SaaS applications that Oracle is offering today.
Thank you, and I apologize for cutting off that answer. The next one is what path to upgrade OBIEE 12.2.1. Let me send this so I can. .1.0.0 would likely be better to OAC or to OAS?
Yes, I would say OAC is much better because you don't have to manage the application because Oracle will be managing it. For provisioning OAC instance, it's hardly going to take 15-20 minutes max, which means implicitly it is going to create a database where which will become like a backbone for this analytics platform, right? Whereas the analytics server, which requires you to build or deploy the databases as well as the application, which it's a kind of a time-consuming process, and you may have to work on managing that application or the deployed application. Whereas OAC is, you don't have to worry about it because it will upgrade by itself, and then the patch will also be happening by itself. And another interesting thing is when you are not using the OAC box, you can actually bring it down. When you are using it, you can actually bring it up back again and then use it.
Thank you. The next one is in the digital transformation journey, where does analytics fit in, early or after?
I would say analytics is also one of the digital transformation components in the world of digital transformation. You can consider this industrialization 4.0, which includes variety of components, even the IoT, blockchain, everything falls into the same digital transformation space. Analytics is also considered as one of the digital transformation because today businesses started looking at the data is the most important thing, which will help them to formalize or predict their business nature for the next few years, right? So they have seen or they have taken analytics as one of the digital transformation. You can actually implement analytics through the whole digital transformation cycle. You can pick one of the key processes, or maybe in the analytics space, you may have plenty of problems. Out of all these problems, you have to identify one of the key processes or one of the key process which you may want to solve it through analytics, right? And then prototype it, do a POC. If it fits or if it's going to add value, implement it, and then you continue using it by creating a work culture for your employees, and then see how you have to effectively improvise it, or sometime it may not yield better results, so you have to go back and then pick a different use case and start doing the same cycle.
And just to add to that, one more aspect which depending on where the organization is placed, they may want to embark on the master data management activity. That can be a prerequisite, or that may not be, depending on how well they are placed. So once they have that thing in place, I think all your transaction systems can be actually integrated, and you can have your analytics initiative as your digital transformation holistically.
Exactly. This also gives a holistic view.
Great, thank you both. I think we have time for one more question. If you do not have your question answered, you can always connect with our presenters. This recording will be available to OATUG members in the knowledge base. And again, their contact information is up there, so please feel free to follow up. This question is, does Oracle have any equivalent cloud-based product to replace OBIA 11G?
Yes, this is the OAS, which is the go forward, or that's there. Oracle is actually insisting the customer to use analytics server, which is the replica of the OAC that you see there on the cloud.
Great, thank you. Because that was quick. I have one more, which is kind of a follow-up. How is OAC compared to its competitors like Tableau, Power BI, or, and I apologize if I say this wrong, Qlik?
Yes, ClickSense.
Qlik.
Yeah. Yes, you can compare this to a lot of other providers as well, not just the Tableau, Power BI, or ClickSense, or the QuickSight that AWS is offering, or the Google Analytics, right? Or if you take all these components, if you take the Amazon's QuickSight, where if you buy a quick site, it just offers you only the visualization component. Maybe if you are interested in building a machine learning kind of, if you are someone who's a kind of a data scientist who wants to play with your data, you may have to also look at buying a SageMaker or additional to the quick site, right? Whereas the OAC is a kind of a unified platform. Once you subscribe to it, it is going to deliver all the in and out of everything, right? Starting with the connectivity to different source system, and then the preparation work, and then analysis work, also the prediction, where it also includes the predefined out of the box machine learning algorithms.
Great, thank you for answering that. And I just want to, we're right at time, so I want to say a huge thank you to Himal and Prakash for presenting this e-learning with OATUG and taking the time to answer all of the questions that everyone submitted. And thank you all for joining us. This will conclude today's e-learning session.